Ready.
All right.
Okay. The plastic in our oceans is at maximum capacity. By 2050, there will be more plastic in our oceans than fish. We have produced more plastic over the last 10 years than in the last 100, and almost every single piece of plastic ever created still exists today. If we don't slow down our plastic production and consumption, our oceans will turn into poisonous soup, and our backyards will turn into toxic wastelands. You are the cause of this problem. Stop using plastic and save the sea turtles. Now, you've probably heard this a million times and have been left feeling guilty, either from a video on the news where a young child collects plastic water bottles from the streams in her city, or from your eco-friendly, self-sufficient friend that you should stop using plastic. But if we're being honest here, people are getting tired of it. But it's because there's virtually nothing you or I could do on our own to solve this problem. We can't undermine the profits of Dasani by sharing another heartfelt video of dolphins swimming through plastic on Facebook. It's understandable people aren't motivated to cut out all plastic from their lives because they know one person vowing to never use plastic again is not going to save all animals from dying of plastic. Individual motivation won't be enough to curb the environmental catastrophes plaguing our oceans today. But let's be clear, because if nothing is done, in just 32 years, plastic is predicted to triple the current rate of production. And by that time, there will be more plastic in our oceans than fish. There will be 465 pieces of plastic for every human on this planet. And as much as I love to avoid unneeded government involvement, I believe we should involve the government in reducing our plastic use. And in this speech, I'm going to explain why. By first talking about why plastic is harmful, next talking about why our current solutions aren't working, and finally by explaining a practical solution. Bisphenol A, or BPA, is a chemical produced in plastic bags, plastic bottles, and in the linings of metal food and soda cans. The reason you've been told that drinking out of a plastic bottle that's been sitting in your hot car is a bad thing is because when BPA gets hot, the chemical leaches into our water. So when plastic enters the ocean and the sun rays hit that plastic, the chemical leaches into our ocean water, the same water that fish filter through their bodies to survive. Even worse, it's the same water we filter through our water treatment plants to become safe for us to drink. Now, this wouldn't be a problem if we were able to take BPA out of the water. But unfortunately, many of these water treatment plants don't test or have the ability to take BPA out. So it goes straight to our town. And that leads to the only other place BPA resides: inside of you. In a study done by the U.S. National Library of Medicine, out of 2,570 participants, 92.6% had BPA in their bloodstream. Now, BPA acts as an endocrine disruptor and interferes with the production, secretion, transportation, function, and elimination of natural hormones. But more simply, it takes the place of hormones designed specifically for your body and in turn can cause infertility, arrhythmia, blood pressure changes, diabetes, improper fetal brain development, and even cancer. So sure, plastic's cheap, lightweight, and durable, but I think we can all agree it's not worth these deadly risks. According to the Sea Turtle Conservancy, 1 million marine animals are killed every year due to plastic consumption and entanglement. Now, you would never go up to a dog on a walk through the neighborhood, strangle it, and kill it. This is unimaginably cruel. Yet, we do this constantly through our overuse of plastic without consciously realizing it. We can't see the direct impact that plastic sandwich bag we use for lunch has on our environment. We use it for a few hours until lunch is over, and we toss it in the trash, understandably not planning to think about it again. According to the Center for Biological Diversity, 1 in 3 sea turtles are found with plastic bags in their stomachs. Now, you would never give a sharp piece of metal or glass to your family pet. You would never give a sharp piece of metal or glass to your family pet because you know that will cause them severe harm. Yet by buying plastic products that will eventually end up in our environment, our actions are directly related to the suffering and death of these animals. But we already knew plastic was bad. And if you're doing your part by recycling your plastic bottles or bringing reusable reusable bags to the grocery store, there's no question you're part of the solution and are contributing to less plastic in the ocean. But here's the thing. While it's a valiant effort that should always be encouraged and always be continued, it simply isn't enough. Because even with these efforts, plastic is entering our oceans faster than it ever has before. If we don't slow down this current method of plastic pollution, there will be no change significant enough to slow the inflow of plastic into our oceans. And that leads me to the most practical, impactful solution that's proven to reduce plastic consumption. I believe we should tax plastic because it's a proven solution that gives alternatives a chance to grow and develop. But don't just take my word for it. Many other countries have already started implementing taxing plastic as a way to reduce their dependency. In Portugal 2015, they implemented a tax on plastic bags. And in just 3 months, plastic bag use decreased by 74%. And the use of those plastic alternatives increased by 61%. In October 2015, the United Kingdom implemented a tax on plastic bags of 5 pence per plastic bag. And since then, plastic bag use has decreased by 85%. In 2 separate countries, taxing plastic created a 74 to 85% reduction in plastic use. Even 18 American states have already implemented plastic regulations either through fines, bans, or taxes on plastic. But we don't have to do it. We could continue with our current solutions by sharing videos on Facebook of seals dying from the plastic straws we use, continue to recycle, and bring reusable bags to the grocery store. Tell that Starbucks barista no when she offers us a straw, and tell our friends just how bad plastic is. But in the end, individual motivation won't be enough. And if we don't curb the 300 million tons of plastic created every year, the amount of people who have BPA running through their bloodstream, interfering with their natural hormones, will only increase. Let's end our increased risk of infertility, arrhythmia, and cancer. Luckily, we have a solution that's proven to work. All we have to do is change your idea on how this problem can be solved and implement it. Thank you.